Hey guys, it's Paradise, and what weapon is right for you in Monster Hunter Wilds? It's one of the biggest questions in Monster Hunter, and while there is no best weapon in the game, picking a weapon that matches your playstyle can have better results and skyrocket your enjoyment of the game. With 14 weapons in the game, this can be a daunting task. But in this video, we're going to help you find that answer whether you're a new player stepping into Monster Hunter for the first time, or a more experienced player looking for some quick notes on how your weapon has improved. We'll give you a quick breakdown of all the different weapons and some of their changes with what's happened to them in Monster Hunter Wilds, so you kind of know what you're getting into. This is an even more important choice for experienced players now, because Wilds actually lets you take a second weapon out to hunt. With the demo releasing soon, we're excited to help you find which weapon is best for you, so let's dive into it, and you can tell us which weapon you like the look of most. There are few weapons in Monster Hunter that invoke the power of a god and anime. The longsword ranks high amongst them with a balance of speed and power. It has a moveset that allows you to quickly dish out burst damage, while also being able to weave in defensive gameplay via counters. The playstyle revolves around building up your spirit gauge level, which can then be expended on powerful attacks like the iconic Helm Breaker. For Wilds, the spirit gauge is even more powerful as you get a new red gauge moveset that augments some of your most powerful attacks, giving you access to the Crimson/Slash combo. There's also the new Spirit Charge that will have you building up your gauge quickly while also dishing out a devastating attack. But if you want to laugh in the face of danger, then the Lance is the weapon for you. This weapon is a defensive powerhouse, allowing you to block and counter attacks even through the most fearsome incoming hits. While it looks like it lacks mobility, experienced players will be able to move fluidly. The Lance's go-to poke combo has been improved for Monster Hunter Wilds, allowing for additional options such as more finishers and the ability to sidestep and reposition. Meanwhile, the shield is more involved in your moveset, allowing you to quickly counter-attack and deal element or status damage. But if you like devastating, raw power that can send enemies reeling in just one hit, then the Greatsword is the perfect match for you. While this weapon may lack mobility, it makes up for it with its meaty, massive chops. And who needs mobility anyway when you can just tackle your way through attacks? The playstyle for the Greatsword is all about charging up to unleash powerful attacks at the cost of mobility. In Monster Hunter Wilds, the Greatsword gets even stronger as it's now able to rotate its true charge chop by using focus mode, and tackling through attacks retains your level. This is also one of the only weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds that can use both the new Clash attack and offset attack mechanic. But if you fancy yourself as a little bit of a John Wick, then you might want to take a look at the light bowgun. This weapon is all about shooting your way to victory. Its playstyle remains mobile, so you can continuously deal damage to the target without being hit. While it may look small, it packs a real punch with its variety of ammo types and mines that can be placed as traps. In Wilds, this weapon has received some massive changes as it focuses more on being a little closer to the monster, but with that risk comes a reward. You now have a rapid fire gauge that can be expended to shoot even more shots per press of the trigger. If there was one weapon, however, that was all about range, then it's going to be the heavy bowgun. This weapon has a large ammo capacity and defensive options that make you feel like you're shooting a long-ranged cannon. It even has a minigun mode and a massive shot for laying down a barrage of vicious attacks that will have the biggest monsters trumped. In Wilds, the heavy bowgun now has longer optimal range for ammo, an offset attack that can counter incoming monster hits, and the ignition gauge that can be used to shoot special ammo. But if you would rather focus on speed, elemental damage bonuses, and becoming Levi from Attack on Titan, then you might want to pick up the Dual Blades as your weapon of choice. This weapon focuses on building up your demon gauge using quick and mobile attacks. Once filled, it can be used to unleash even more powerful and devastating attacks. In Wilds, the Dual Blades now have the ability to weave between the potent Demon Dance and Demon Flurry for an extended combo, and for those quick on your toes, if you're able to hit a perfect dodge, you'll gain the Evasion State buff, which increases your elemental damage and attack damage, as well as allowing you to attack while dodging. The bow, however, provides high mobility in combat, but don't presume that this compromises its damage capabilities. It boasts significant power, and if you've dreamed of becoming Legolas from Lord of the Rings, then this could be your weapon of choice. The playstyle revolves around managing your charge level on your attacks to deal increased damage, and you can select the right ammo coating for the situation. In Wilds, you get access to some crazy new additions. The trick gauge means that you're able to refill your coatings and use attacks that allow your arrows to home in on targets. It also benefits from well-timed dodges to refill your stamina and the gauge all in one go. Next, the community calls this one the most technical weapon, but once you have your head wrapped around its playstyle, the Charge Blade will have you dealing some of the most powerful attacks in the game. This weapon is all about managing your files, which can be used to power up different components of the weapon. Seasoned players are able to guard incoming attacks using the guard point mechanic, and the learning curve is definitely worth it for this weapon. In Wilds, the Charge Blade benefits from the return of the Savage Axe mode and a new overcharging file mechanic. Plus, there's new guard points to master and extended combos for the super amped element discharge. But the hammer is great at knocking things out and dealing a ton of burst damage. While the playstyle is fairly simple, it is also a very powerful weapon in the right hands. It's all about bonking things, and unlike most weapons, it deals blunt damage, which is great at breaking parts, meaning you'll get extra rewards if you hit the right places. For Wilds, the hammer can do some cool things like the Mighty Charge that allows you to quickly spin your hammer to generate charge, and offset attacks that are tied into your golf swing. Next is the Hunting Horn, but you would be wrong to just consider this as a support weapon. While it's great at providing team-wide support, this weapon is also great at dishing out amazing damage when in the right hands. The playstyle for this weapon focuses on pressing a series of button attacks in the right order, where you can then stack notes to create songs which generate additional buffs and benefits. It's perhaps one of the most underrated weapons in the game, and having a Hunting Horn player in your party can turn the tide of battle in your favor. In Monster Hunter Wilds, the Hunting Horn got some amazing additions, such as being able to create echo bubbles that buff you and deal damage, you have increased song speed, and a counter via a new offset attack. If, however, you're looking for a staff-based weapon, then you're probably going to like the look of the Insect Glaive. This weapon allows you to buff yourself with your trusty Kinsect companion to deal even more damage. You can use the Kinsect to attack with you, or the Insect Glaive itself to gain more height and attack from a different direction. The Insect Glaive in Monster Hunter Wilds is more grounded than some of the more recent Monster Hunter games, but for that trade-off, you gain some powerful grounded attacks and the ability to attack with your Kinsect while in focus mode. You can now also gain all 3 buffs by using charged attacks or the new Focus Strike. Now, in the realm of Monster Hunter, the Gunlance stands as a resolute shield. It combines the strength of the lance with the firepower of a cannon, enabling you to relentlessly pressure your prey with a series of bombardments. And at the opportune moment, you can unleash a devastating, super-powered strike. This weapon exemplifies the perfect equilibrium between precision, piercing attacks, and explosive bombardments that's kind of reminiscent of a movie. In Wilds, the Gunlance has received some impressive improvements. Its shelling will now scale with various different sources, it has multiple blast follow-up attacks, and a drill that can pierce the heavens for a focus strike. But next is one of the most highly recommended starter weapons, the Sword and Shield, which offers a versatile playstyle with a single weapon. It can deliver powerful raw attacks with its slower, heavier hits with its shield, and allows you to exploit elemental weaknesses on monsters with its faster sword combos. For a more defensive approach though, the shield can also be utilized for effective protection. In Wilds, the Sword and Shield is even more mobile, with the ability to attack and reposition while using focus mode, and it has a charged chop with a new meaty attack that hits multiple times. But if versatility, impactful combos, and extra style points are at the top of your list for which weapon to pick, then the Switch Axe should be a high-ranking contender. It combines 2 forms of fighting style in one, allowing you to freely switch between the long reach of the axe mode and the explosive and powerful swings of the sword mode, allowing for adaptability in different combat situations. In Wilds, the Switch Axe is taken to a whole new level, with improvements to both modes, and extended combos like the new Full Release and Compressed Slash. In the past, a weakness of the Switch Axe was its limited mobility and lengthy attack animations. But these are now insignificant worries, as in Wilds, its axe form is granted a new offset attack, allowing you to respond to incoming attacks quickly and with style. Meanwhile, the Axe mode has gained a separate counter that is fairly quick to combo or cancel into, making the entire weapon more responsive to danger. But which 2 weapons are you liking the look of most to take on hunts with you? Put your picks and why down below, and subscribe for more Monster Hunter and videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.